Chapter 3: Learning the Art of Now. We are sometimes the victims of time. Our lives depend on alarm clocks, deadlines, and meetings. We live by the minutes. Our favorite TV programs make us want to go home. And we have daily planners and schedules that are to be followed strictly. Though there's nothing wrong with all these, at times, we let it control our lives that we become unable to live in the moment. Rather, we unconsciously live in the past or in the future. This can make our lives really stressful. How so? The past. What does living in the past mean? Here are simple solutions to help you understand more. Do you find yourself thinking of your past and feel like you're watching an old movie rerun? Do you find yourself feeling fearful of what the future may bring? Do you feel sad or frustrated whenever you think about the past and sometimes believe that you might never be happy or fulfilled again? How do you feel about your current life status? Are you satisfied? Do you feel energetic and excited whenever you wake up in the morning? If you answered yes to most questions, then most probably you are indeed living in the past. Our past has an important role in our lives. It gives lessons and memories to learn from and cherish. But if you find yourself clinging to a particular time of your life in the past, and it's making you want to live there more than live in your current life, that is where the problem starts. You'll be stuck in your past, and it can make your life not just miserable, but stressful as well. This is because you will keep on thinking about how happy you were, how fulfilling those days were, how much fun it would be if you could only turn back time. But in your heart, you know that you cannot do it, and so you just dwell on it and make thinking and stressing about your past your favorite pastime. So whenever you're faced with situations that require you to live your now, you will just be as stressed as ever and unable to move forward. The future. Again, let us understand what it means when we say that one is living in the future. First, let us differentiate it from fear of the future. Here are a few questions that could help us understand this kind of fear. Do you find yourself feeling fearful planning long term? Do you believe that the best of your days aren't happening yet because they belong to the future? Do you feel that you are currently stuck in your life status and yet have no plans or idea on how to move forward? Do you experience anxiety attacks, no matter how small, whenever you think of tomorrow, next week, or next month? If you find yourself having yes as an answer to any of these questions above, then most probably you are fearful of the future. The mere thought of it already stresses you out. The disadvantage here is that the future is part of life. It is inevitable. So if you have fear of its coming, then imagine how stressful your current life could be. Here are a few questions that might help determine if you are living in the future. Do you find yourself thinking of how fun it would be to go back to a certain place even when you are currently already there? Say, having a vacation, for example. Do you always prepare for the future, end of the world, death, retirement, etc.? Do you experience being pulled in the future, i.e., worrying about things or situations that have not happened yet? Do you often ask yourself the following questions? What might be, what could be, and what will be? A yes to the questions above can mean that you are indeed living in the future. Things that have not happened yet are already affecting and stressing you out. Your now is neglected because you tend to spend time thinking about the future. You also will try to solve problems in situations that, in reality, only exist in your head because the truth of the matter is that the probability of the things you imagine will happen in the future is low, because in life, change is the only permanent thing, and there are situations that are beyond your control. The present. But what is the present? What is the now? Well, it is your life at this very moment. It is you waking up in the morning and prepping yourself for the day. It is you having breakfast with your significant other or family and sharing stories or plans for the day. Now means you are being mindful of what is happening at the moment. Living in the now means that you do not dwell on the past, but you can think of it as memories that gave you lessons or cherished moments. But no more than that, living in the now also means that you do not get anxious of what can happen in the next few months, let alone next year. But you understand that this also doesn't mean that you won't be having any plans for the future. Living in the now is being present in your daily chores, daily conversations, and daily interactions, using what you have learned in the past while thinking of how it can affect your future. Tips on how to make sure you are living in the now. Practice stillness and calm. Most times we succumb to the demands of life that we forget to live. Our lives consist of rushing to places, meeting deadlines, and finishing tasks. We are always doing something. It seems a sin to be caught not doing anything. At times, we even become afraid to be alone with our thoughts simply because we are not used to it. At the end of busy days, try to make it a habit to pause and recall the events of your day. Ask yourself, were all the situations that happened the day necessary? Could I have changed a thing? Would I have decided another? Know your distractions. Learn to be aware when you are already spending too much time thinking of your past or your future. Be aware of how these thoughts could be the source of your stress. Stay away from toxic people who refuse to live in the now. Because there are too many people on this planet and there will be too many personalities of all sorts that you will meet along the way. Learn to distinguish those that pull your good energies away. There will be people you will meet who love drama and anything negative. Do not let them affect you. Instead, learn how to spot one and stay away. Be aware of how you emotionally feel when talking of engaging with people. If you notice that a particular person always leaves you drained and somehow stressed, do yourself a favor. Hang with the person no more. Savor the present moment. If you're eating a cookie, feel its crunch and flavor. Don't worry if you will have some more tomorrow. This is a classic example of living in the now and not in the future. To make the most out of every experience, learn to let it flow. There are times when an itinerary is imperative, whereas there are also times when you need to put that schedule in the trash bin and let everything flow. This is so you could have time to relish every moment and not worry if you're going to be late for the next activity or not.